Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajua. It's all about the Abiyedh line in this video. Personally, the Abiyedh line is one of my favorite lines when it comes to Lattafa fragrances. They can be hit and miss when it comes to doing flankers. Sometimes you can have one fragrance in a line being great and the others not smelling so great, And generally, Lattafa fragrances do not follow the same tone. The original fragrance or the original dupe fragrance could be a copy of a particular fragrance, but the flankers are entirely different fragrances. You don't expect them to follow suit, with the original dupe. They, I guess, something that comes in. I don't know how they do it, but I guess bring out flankers which do not even smell alike in any way. And that is the case of the Abiyedh line. However, I think they did some great job with some of these lines, including there are 5 of them. There are 5 of the fragrances in the Abiyedh line. There's the Abiyedh Rouge, the OG. There's the Abiyedh Leather, the Poudree, the current one, Coral, and then I Am White, and I'm here to let you know my rankings of these fragrances. Now that the Coral is out, I think it's one of my favorites, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to rank these amazing Abiyedh fragrances. And I'm going to start off with one of the most iconic Lattafa fragrances. I would say it's very iconic. That is the Abiyedh Rouge. This was super popular. I think it was one of the first Baccarat Rouge, dupes that came out way back in 2016, at a time when Middle Eastern fragrances were not like the it thing. A lot of people were not talking about Middle Eastern fragrances, but when this one came out, I think it became a lot more popularized around 2020, 2021, years after it had been launched. It was launched in 2016, and a lot of people had a lot of things to say about it. People who were not, people who didn't know about Middle Eastern fragrances were like, okay, it smells like that, but it is squishy. It smells like nail polish. Yes, it had all those things. But to me, after having this bottle for 3 years, I think it is to me, it is the best interpretation of Baccarat Rouge. There are 1,001 of them, but to me, I think Abiyedh Rouge is one of the best out there and one of the earliest one, which came out. And this one is like a more fruity with the kumquat. It's actually the first fragrance I got to know had the note of kumquat. I never knew anything about kumquat. I think the first one that I really paid attention to a kumquat, fragrance was Junun Noir. But I understand, or when I checked this one, I know there is kumquat in it, but I didn't know what it was, but I was able to sort of dish out kumquat in this when I was able to dish out the kumquat in Junun Noir, So this one has that kumquat, and it's a more fruity. Yes, that nail polish thing was there, but after 3 years, you can barely smell that. I can smell this. I'm not like nose blind to this, like a lot of people complain about the Baccarat Rouge. I'm not nose blind to this at all. I can smell it. It lasts for hours. It lasts for days. It is beautiful. It is like clean. It doesn't come across as very squishy. Baccarat Rouge, I don't know. I think it's quite, a lot of people have said it's quite easy to replicate, and people have done that in the worst possible ways. I think it's one of the fragrances that has had a lot of disservice. A lot of brands have duped it in the worst possible way, being screechy, loud, and obnoxious. But when it comes to Abiyedh Rouge, I think it's one of the best. It's quite smooth, especially after maturation. You need about 3 or so months for it to mellow down, and it's going to give you about 95% Baccarat Rouge, with a fruity undertone. And it's a very beautiful fragrance. To me, there was a period I was over my Baccarat Rouge, juice. Now I can enjoy them, I don't mind smelling like every other person because I know how to wear my fragrances and smell different from every other person, So for me, Abiyedh Rouge, I'll rate it a 9.5 out of 10. It's an oldie, a good one. I'll highly recommend. I'm going to go on with another one here that I recently picked up. I've been meaning to pick this one for a very long time. Abiyedh Poudree. This had always smelled like the macerated bottles. This is my first time owning a full bottle, but anytime I tested this one, it was like, okay, bottles from vendors, and it had already gone through maturation. But when I got this one a few days back, I just realized, when you go on fragrance card, people will say it is a bit squishy, blah blah. I get where that negative association is coming from, but trust me, just a few days into this, it mellows down. I get that it's a bit screechy from the beginning with the It's just a very beautiful, simple orange blossom musk and then vanilla. It's like a very beautiful, soft, girly, but also with the punch. It's not necessarily a very soft one. It's light and airy, but also quite dense, year-round fragrance. In my opinion, it is dense enough for you to wear it, even throughout winter, and also light enough for you to wear it during summer and other seasons. It's a very beautiful, ultra feminine orange blossom. I get a very beautiful orange blossom, and the floral aspect of that orange blossom, I get it in a very beautiful way. I get the vanilla, and it's not your foodie realistic vanilla. It is a just a basic vanilla scent, but it feels fresh. It feels light. It doesn't feel dense. It doesn't feel over, like foodie. It doesn't feel foodie to me at all. It's a very beautiful, pretty vanilla scent incorporated with that orange blossom in the musk. The musk is where I think the screechiness is coming from, but it's mellows down, it's macerates, it tames down. The musk here is also clean. It is not animalic. It is just a clean. I feel it's like a white musk with a very mild patchouli. It has a patchouli, nuance to it too, but it's a very clean, non-animalic musk patchouli, and the vanilla here is so light and airy and beautiful, coupled with the orange blossom. This is like a very delightful. It comes across as a bit matured. It doesn't give me young, it's quite a bit of a matured scent. I think it has some rose, but I don't get rose as much. But it's a very beautiful, sultry, sexy, come hither, womanly. It's like womanly vibes. And this is Anab Abiyedh Poudree. It's very beautiful, very beautiful. If you have a new bottle and you think it is quite squishy because of the mask, I think the best thing you can do is to allow time to work on this. Time is this fragrance best friend. For me, it's been about a week and a half, and I still think I will let it sit for a couple of weeks more. But this is very beautiful. The macerated ones I have tried so far are all awesome, feminine, sensual, sensual musk, non-animalic, clean, patchouli. It's just very beautiful, and my rating for this one is equaling 9.5 out of 10. I'm rating these ones high because they really deserve that rating, in my opinion, or to my nose. I'm going to go with another one here, and this one I've always said I'm not a fan of this, the I Am White. I think this one was released somewhere around 2017 or earlier, when Eba Pura, was hot and heavy. But this to me, although I think it's the Eba Pura, DNA in general that I'm not a fan of, because of the mask. The mask feels quite screechy. After years of maceration, I still feel even the OG Eba Pura, I'm not a huge fan of that, and it's very it's a good dupe. I would give it to it. It's a very good dupe of Eba Pura. However, it's just the DNA I'm not a fan of, coupled with the fact that the mask is quite sharp and piercing and chemically and too strong, and it sort of overshadows the other fruits, that you're supposed to enjoy, like a typical fruit bowl. I don't get as much of a fruit bowls vibe in as much as I get from the Eba Pura, Zedjob Eba Pura Gold. This one to me is a smoother, more orange blossom and vanilla, undertone. It's got something a lot more tolerable. I enjoyed this one a lot more. This is Zedjob's Eba Pura Gold, and I enjoyed this one a lot more than the I Am White or even the original Eba Pura, and this to me, I've always said it's not my favorite, and I'm going to rate this one a 4 out of 10. To me, I really do not like it. If I come across a dupe or inspired by version of the Eba Pura Gold, I think I'll grab it, And most of these, all the Anab Abiyedh lines are in 60 ml, they all come in 60 ml. So they are something you can quickly go through, especially if you enjoy them. So you can just quickly go through these ones because they are 60 ml, not 100. It's not bad, but it's not my cup of tea, and it is too screechy for me. And the latest addition to this is going to be the Anab Abiyedh Coral. I love this. Apparently, it's inspired by Wave Child Room 1015, and that is a fragrance I'm not familiar with. I just got to know about that particular fragrance when I spoke about this, or I was researching about this one. This is a very delightful tropical coconut. It dries down to a very beautiful creamy coconut, not santan lotion vibe. It's just a very delightful tropical scent with the watermelon and the peach and the sugary. It feels like candied watermelon with the peach and something like an, I guess something like an apple, like a bright eating juicy apple, that the apple in eating juicy apple by Kelly. I get it here, and it also gives me something like the pear in pear potion. I get a pear in pear potion here. I get the Lempatrice watermelon, but amped up, and a very beautiful, creamy, not santan lotion vibe, but coconut, this very beautiful coconut at the dry down is just different. I like how the coconut is done in this, way. It's not like it's like a watery coconut, but also has a presence, and it is not santan lotion vibe. It's just a very pretty girl scent. It is fun and flirty. It's just a fun and flirty one, it is like full bottle worthy. This is something you can quickly go through, you can overspray. However, it is super long lasting. Don't underestimate it just because it's the sort of tropical happy-go-lucky scent. It is super long lasting as well. And this is Lattafa's Coral. It is just a beautiful, delightful, not overwhelming, but it lasts super long. It lasts super long. So is the Abiyedh Poudree. It's going to last you like an entire 24 hours. The Abiyedh Rouge is going to last you 24, 36 hours, 48 hours. This one also, I think this one doesn't really give me a lasting power, like a very long lasting power. It doesn't give me that, but the rest give me a very, good number of wear hours, so yeah, when it comes to Coral, to me at this point, I would say I'm going to rate it a 9 out of 10, just because in as much as it is a very realistic watermelon, and then dry down, or as it begins to dry down, that intense watermelon, sort of mellows down, and I would have loved for it to have maintained that, watermelon composure, whatever, I would have loved for the watermelon to stay on a lot longer. Although it is still there, it will linger throughout the life of the fragrance. But I guess for the kick that I get at the initial, spray, sort of, take a little bit of a mellow turn after a few hours, or about an hour into it. There was a melon sort of tones down, and I would have loved for it to be a lot linger on for more hours, and that is the reason why I'm going to rate it a 9. If the watermelon was staying for like 3-4 hours, it would have been a 10 out of 10. So that is Coral. I think I'm going to rate it a 9 out of 10. And then the last one here is going to be the Abiyedh Leather, and that is the only one I don't have in this. I wasn't interested in buying that because it's supposedly a masculine scent with the juniper berries and some leather and some patchouli and some, I think, some woods, and it's known to be inspired by Memo Paris's Irish leather or something. It's the only fragrance that I don't have in the Abiyedh line. I don't feel I'm missing out on that just because I feel it is like marketed towards me. I would love to at least try that. I'm not sure whether I have even tried that. I think I've gone through phase of trying the Abiyedh line. I might have tried it at some points, but probably it wasn't as memorable for me to remember how it smells. But these are the 4 that I have in my collection out of the 5, and I think I'm not thinking of adding the Abiyedh Leather to my collection just because it's supposedly a masculine leaning scent, and I'm not looking for anything masculine leaning for myself now. So yeah, that is going to be it for today, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.